We have this last session before this lunch. So let me request our speakers to join in, and we have this topic on sustainable urban development, integrating green infrastructure and smart city technologies. So on one side, we are talking about growth in housing, but as we increase the housing, we increase the pressure on the urban infrastructure. So we need sustainable urban development also. So let me request Samir Unhale ji to first of all talk about sustainable development issues and how it can balance with the growth in housing.
So very good afternoon. I'm trying to extend your lunch, time for lunch, so sorry for that. So I'll be very brief to the point, and I hope the points we discuss will be helpful to you in your actual functioning. So the specific words I take now is one is green, second is smart. So we'll try to dwell 5 sentences each on them. Green started with pollution, then went to global warming, then went to ozone hole, then to global warming, and now carbon is the new Saturn or new Satan. So the discourse of last 50 years shifted from pollution to carbon, and that encompasses the thinking behind what actually green city ought to be. So essentially what we look at green cities would be a sufficient amount of green cover. It could be along the street, along the green park, recreation parks, and the usual land use planning norms that have been mandated by the relevant statutes of the respective states. So environmentally, we have to ensure that the load that the city creates on the biodiversity, on the air, land, and water pollution is sufficiently factored into the city planning and then implemented by way of projects that and budgeting and execution of that. That could be one way of looking at catering for the green context of the city. Second, when we use the word smart, it is not defined anywhere, so that it has a range of activities that we normally do for a city. It could ideally also start with intelligent functioning of city processes. Like if I think transport is a major pain point for all of us. We have to travel along the cities and we see many of the traffic jams. So what can be done for that? So one approach could be the smart city approach, which essentially uses all the available technologies to make the life of citizens better and maybe less miserable. So that could be the simplest way of looking at what a smart city could mean. In the context of traffic, let's have less traffic jams. So what can be done? Yes, we have the Google Maps, we have the area smart signaling of the traffics. And also at the planning approach, we could be having more public transport which is fueled by, electricity. So in Mumbai, we are seeing huge expansion of metros, which is being done through MMRD and other institutions. So when we talk of green, when we talk of smart, it is an inevitable part for our urbanization that the next maybe 5, 10, 15 years that we're looking at, the lives of the citizens has to be not only less miserable, but more enjoyable. And how to achieve that would be the context of smart and maybe green approaches to the cities. So I think I'll stop here. Thank you.
Excellent inputs. Thank you, Nalaji. Let me request Om Prakash Derate, who is Commissioner and Administrator of Ichal Karanji Municipal Corporation. Over to you. Like if you can talk about these sustainable development issues in urban planning and urban management. Yeah.
Good afternoon, all. First, I would like to thank you, Mahada, Elets, and the organizers for such a wonderful audience and discussion that are arranged by them. See, as a sustainable development, we can affordable housing and infrastructure. We can say that these are the two sides of a coin, without which the sustainable development is not possible. And in cities like Mumbai, you know, the land cost is very high, where already there is landlocking. Similar situations are there in some other areas like Kolhapur, where there are landlocking because of the rivers and all geographical constraints. Even beyond Thane also, in Bhiwandi district also, there are some forest lands and all. So land prices are rising up, and therefore affordable housing, we have to focus making available the lands by getting cleared the slums. Of course, clearing the slums is not such a simple task. But if we assure the slum dwellers that they are going to be, definitely they are going to be a part of that development, they are going to get the home in that particular development, then they are ready. We have evolved some projects like that. I have evolved in Kolhapur also, in Thane also, BSUP projects we have done. So if land availability is done in such a way, then definitely the infrastructure development is possible. And then sustainable development, towards the sustainable development we can start, we can move. So making available land, what are the challenges? So these challenges must be addressed by the system, by the government, and assurance must be given to those slum dwellers. Now, there are some acts, like Guntevari Act is there. Now, Guntevari Act, actually, the act was, it was formed, it was evolved for Sangli city, where there were some small size plotting was done, and what could be done? There was no any such system in place where these small plots can be regularized. But then later on, what happened? That timeline, which was earlier, it was 2000, that again extended. Then again, it is getting overburdened the infrastructure. So these issues must be addressed in a proper manner, and then only the sustainable development is possible. Already, Honorable Joint Director, Municipal Administration, Shri Unhale sir has mentioned very nicely about the green development. So green development is a proper way to go ahead for the sustainable development, which will make happier all the say the homeless citizens which are there. Now, here in morning, Raymond Reality has showcased their projects in Thane. I would say it can be, say, रोटी, कपड़ा और मकान, तीन चीज़ें जरूरी रहती है. तो उसमें से रोटी नहीं, लेकिन कपड़ा और मकान रेमंड ने अभी देना शुरू कर दिया है. तो लेट अस होप कि जो नेसेसिटी है सिटीजन्स की टुवर्ड्स द सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, these reality stalwarts will definitely provide with the help of good governance from the administration and government. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We can have a round of applause for the great inputs by Unhale ji and also from the Om Prakash ji. Thank you. And let me request Mr. Bhushan Desai, who is a Deputy Chief Engineer for MADA, to talk about green development and sustainable development initiatives.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am the last minute change. I am the last minute involvement in this panel, Elite panel. So I am not much prepared. I was here for just as a listener, but now I have to discuss the thing. So, see, now with lots of construction activities in Mumbai nowadays, now construction industry has become a biggest carbon emitter. One of the has become a biggest carbon emitter. So we have to adopt for green infrastructure through sustainable practice. And what is the sustainable practice? It is revolve around 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Mumbai has a scarcity of spaces, and here the redevelopment is very predominant. And nowadays, redevelopment of slums, redevelopment of old buildings are taking place. Maharashtra is one of the biggest contributor in this redevelopment industry. So green infrastructure can be achieved through recycling and reusing the old materials. Old demolished building, from old demolished building we can use bricks, metals, stones, even some electrical materials also. If we can use old wooden structures when it get demolished, we can use it as for some aesthetic use also. Though reusing and recycling is a time spending activities, and in Mumbai everything is on fast track, so it may not be possible at this stage, but with constant support and with constant support from government and some rules and regulation, we can achieve it in the future also. There another one is the waste management. So we can go for the waste management. We can segregate the waste from the demolished building, from the ongoing projects. To minimize the waste, we can use prefab structures, aluminium formwork, bar bending at factory, bar bending at the factory outlets only, and so that we can minimize the waste. We can use uncompatible material for the landfill also. Then there is another aspect is reduction in pollution. So there is lots of requirement in to reduce the pollution through the construction industry. So we can adopt for smog reduction machines, dust separations method, some water efficient technologies, and some then also I'm so sorry. I'm not much prepared, but that's it. Thank you.
Excellent inputs, and no, I think we are highly delayed here for lunch, and I can see on the faces of the audience that everyone is hungry. So if you want to, yeah.
Just I would like to add one point. Now I am working in Ichalkaranji Municipal Corporation as commissioner. There we are facing some different sort of problem. Here in Mumbai, vertical development, the dwellers are ready, but we are proposing the vertical development, but those dwellers are not ready to occupy in the vertical development. They want the ground plus one, ground plus two story buildings, and there are some. So we cannot occupy more number of dwellers in that, and the land requirement is very high in that case. So such problems we are facing there. Thank you so much.
Great input. Unhale ji, you want to give a closing remark?
ज़्यादा बात नहीं करेंगे, लोगों अभी हलचल हो गई है. तो एक ही बात है कि सप्लाई साइड असेसमेंट जो होता है हाउसिंग सेक्टर का, या सप्लाई साइड हम क्या कर रहे हैं. लैंड अवेलेबल होना चाहिए, पैसा अवेलेबल होना चाहिए, ये दो चीज़ें रहती है. एंड दैट इज़ द क्रक्स ऑफ द गेम. लैंड, मोर लैंड हैज़ टू मेड अवेलेबल. और जो प्लानिंग टूल है अभी प्लानिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट का, FSI का, इफ़ द plot owner is making expenditure for developing infrastructure for that, he could be given more additional FSI, and so the burden of the municipal council will go down for providing the infrastructure support for that city. So that I mean जसवाल सर के साथ भी चर्चा करते वक्त ये पॉइंट आया था कि probably we should be using the planning tools more smartly to boost the supply side of the housing sector. Thank you.
great inputs, and I think we will conclude the session here and go for the lunch. And I thank our esteemed panels for joining in. Thank you, everyone.